This season, how much have you spent on neem oil? Maybe $30, maybe $50, maybe more, because you bought the good brand your neighbor recommended, and your aphids are still there. I want to tell you something a plant shop owner with 30 years of experience told me, and it changed the way I think about pest control completely. She said, neem oil is a specialist tool. Most people are using a surgeon's scalpel to hammer a nail. You're using the wrong key for the wrong lock. Today, I'm going to show you 3 kitchen ingredients: baking soda, dish soap, and yes, even neem oil, that each target a completely different biological mechanism. Together, they can help manage most common garden pests you'll encounter. Total cost? Approximately 25 cents. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never overpay for pest control again. Here's the problem, and it's not your fault. For the last 20 years, the gardening industry has simplified pest control into one message: buy neem oil. It's marketed as a catch-all solution, and neem oil is remarkable. But remarkable at one specific thing. Neem oil contains a compound called azadirachtin. What azadirachtin does, and does beautifully, is disrupt the molting cycle of insects. The insect can struggle to develop normally. In many cases, it may fail to reach reproductive maturity. That is extraordinarily powerful against the right pest at the right life stage. But here's what the label doesn't tell you. Aphids don't respond well to neem spray because they reproduce faster than azadirachtin can disrupt their cycle. Soft-bodied insects like spider mites have a completely different vulnerability, their waxy protective coating. And fungal diseases like powdery mildew, they're not insects at all. Azadirachtin has minimal to no meaningful effect on established fungal colonies. It's simply not the right tool for that job. You've been fighting 3 different battles with one weapon. So let me give you the mechanism matrix, the right key for the right lock. 3 sprays, 3 targets, 3 different mechanisms. Spray number 1 targets fungi, powdery mildew, black spot on roses, early blight on tomatoes. If you've ever seen that white dusty coating spreading across your squash leaves in late summer, that's powdery mildew, and it spreads fast. Once it shows up, it can cover an entire plant in 10 days. Here's the mechanism, and this is the part I love because it's so beautifully simple. Fungi need a slightly acidic surface to colonize. Your leaves, naturally, provide exactly that. But baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, is alkaline. When you spray it on a leaf surface, it temporarily raises the pH. The fungi spores land, find the environment hostile, and cannot establish. You're not poisoning the fungus. You're changing the neighborhood so it doesn't want to move in. Research from Cornell in the 1990s backs this up. Baking soda can help reduce powdery mildew, especially when used early. Here's what you need. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 quart, that's 4 cups of water. 1/2 teaspoon of pure dish soap, which acts as a spreader, helping the solution cling to the leaf instead of beading off. Mix gently. Don't shake. You don't want foam. Spray both the top and the underside of leaves. Fungi spores love the underside. That's often where colonies start. One critical rule: spray in the morning or early evening. Never midday. Baking soda solution on leaves in direct hot sun can cause burn. The salt concentration gets too high as water evaporates. Morning spraying lets the solution work and dry naturally before the heat of the day. Reapply every 7 to 10 days, or after rain. A 1-pound box of baking soda costs about $1. 1 teaspoon per quart. You'll use maybe 20 teaspoons in an entire growing season. That's approximately 8 cents per spray session. Compare that to a commercial copper-based fungicide at $12 a bottle. Before I give you spray number 2, I want to tell you about a woman I'll call Carol. Carol had been gardening for 40 years. Beautiful rose garden, 12 bushes. Last spring, she came to the plant shop where my source worked, carrying a plastic bag of leaves covered in what she described as the grossest thing I've ever seen on a plant. Aphids, hundreds of them. They'd been there for 2 weeks. She'd spent close to $200 on commercial sprays. The aphids came back with a vengeance. The shop owner handed her a small bottle of dish soap and said, 1 teaspoon, 1 quart of water, spray every 5 days, 3 times. Then come back and tell me. Carol came back 2 weeks later with photos. Her roses were looking clear and healthy again. Here's why dish soap works, and why it works so specifically on soft-bodied insects. Aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, mealybugs, and young scale insects. These pests have a waxy protective coating on their bodies. This coating does 2 things. It prevents water loss and it blocks toxins. It's essentially their armor. Soap, specifically the fatty acid compounds in dish soap, dissolves that waxy layer. Without their coating, the insects dehydrate rapidly. They also can't breathe properly because the soap clogs the tiny pores called spiracles that they use for respiration. The soap isn't a poison. It's armor removal. This is why it's generally considered low risk for people and plants when used correctly. For pets, keep them away from treated areas until the spray has fully dried, usually within an hour in normal conditions. Once dry, the diluted solution poses minimal risk. As always with any spray in the garden, don't let pets drink directly from treated puddles. 1 teaspoon of pure dish soap only. No bleach added, no heavy degreaser formula, no ultra-concentrated antibacterial soap. The simpler, the better. Plain dish soap. Original formula. Mix with 1 quart of water. This is a contact spray. It only works on insects it physically touches. So coverage matters. Spray thoroughly. Top of the leaves, undersides, stems, the growing tips where aphids cluster. Get into every crevice. Then, and this is the step most people skip, reapply on day 5 and day 10. Here's why. The first spray handles the adults present, but their eggs are not affected. Those eggs hatch in 3 to 5 days. Your second spray catches the newly hatched nymphs before they've had time to reproduce. Your third spray handles anything that escaped. In most cases, by day 15, you'll have significantly reduced the population and disrupted their reproductive cycle. Heavy infestations may need a 4th application. Carol had been fighting a 2-week battle. This spray helped turn things around in about 2 weeks. 1 teaspoon of dish soap per quart. A standard bottle contains about 200 teaspoons, approximately 17 cents per full spray session, for the pest that gave Carol a $200 problem. Now, let's talk about neem oil, not to dismiss it, but to put it where it belongs. Remember the plant shop owner? She didn't say neem oil was bad. She said it was a specialist tool. And here's where neem is genuinely extraordinary. Fungus gnats. If you grow houseplants, if you have soil in containers, if you've ever noticed tiny black flies hovering around your pots, You know, fungus gnats. The adult flies are just annoying. But the larvae live in your soil and feed on plant roots. That's what stunts your seedlings. That's what causes mystery decline in otherwise healthy container plants. Here's the science. When you use neem oil as a soil drench, the azadirachtin is taken up by plant roots and distributed through the plant's tissue. This is called systemic action. Fungus gnat larvae live in the soil. They eat roots. When they ingest plant tissue containing azadirachtin, the compound can disrupt their larval development, specifically their molting. They can't advance to the next life stage. The population can collapse significantly over 3 treatment cycles. This is neem doing exactly what it was designed to do: interrupt insect development from the inside. When you spray neem on aphids on leaf surfaces, the azadirachtin concentration is too low and too surface level to significantly disrupt their rapid reproduction cycle. That's the mismatch. Soil drench, right target. Foliar aphid spray, wrong target. Here's the recipe for a neem soil drench. 2 teaspoons of cold-pressed neem oil. Use one with at least 0.3% azadirachtin. 1 teaspoon of dish soap as an emulsifier. 1 quart of lukewarm water. Mix vigorously. Pour slowly around the base of the plant, directly onto the soil. Not the leaves, the soil. Repeat once per week for 3 weeks. One safety note: if you have pets, especially cats, keep them away from freshly treated soil. Neem oil can be harmful if ingested by animals. Once the soil has absorbed the solution and dried, the risk drops significantly. Here's something I find beautiful. Farmers in India have been using neem tree extracts as soil treatments for hundreds of years. The same compound, azadirachtin, the same mechanism. Different century, different packaging. When the plant shop owner told me that, I thought, sometimes the old knowledge was right all along. We just forgot which problem it was solving. Before you go make these sprays, 3 common mistakes to avoid, because I see them in comments all the time. Mistake 1. Using dish soap with bleach or heavy degreaser. Bleach will burn your plants. Degreasers have surfactant concentrations too high for leaf tissue. Stick to plain dish soap, original formula. If in doubt, check the label. The ingredients should be simple. Mistake 2. Spraying in full midday sun. All 3 of these sprays can cause leaf burn if applied when the sun is at its strongest. Morning or early evening only. Your plants will thank you. Mistake 3. Spraying once and stopping. One application will not break a pest cycle. Eggs survive the first spray. Pests migrate from neighboring plants. You need 3 applications, 5 to 7 days apart, to actually collapse a population, rather than just irritate it. 3 applications. That's the commitment. It's worth it. So here's what you now have: powdery mildew or fungal spots. Baking soda, approximately 8 cents. Change the leaf's pH, and the fungus has nowhere to live. Aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, dish soap, approximately 17 cents. Dissolve their armor, break their 3-week cycle. Fungus gnats in the soil? Neem soil drench. And now you're using that $50 bottle exactly right. 3 keys, 3 locks. Total cost, approximately 25 cents. The plant shop owner who taught me this has been gardening for 30 years. She's seen generations of gardeners spend hundreds of dollars on products that didn't work. Not because the products were bad, but because no one matched the tool to the problem. You know the match now. Pass it forward. If you have a neighbor like Carol, someone who's been fighting aphids and spending a fortune, share this video with them. That's the whole point of this channel. Knowledge that actually saves your plants and your wallet. If this helped you today, I'd love to know, what pest have you been fighting? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more kitchen remedy pest solutions, I have a video on garlic spray coming up next that uses the same right key logic. Take care of those plants. I'll see you in the garden.